As far as tonight goes, I'll go through some announcements and then I will run through our scale fluctuations talk. For anybody that's new here, I don't know if we have anybody that's new to these calls, but I'll go through some announcements first, go through some tips and tricks about where we're at in the challenge if you're participating in that. And then from there, go through the the topic of the night. And at the end, if there's any questions or anything you guys have on this topic, on anything else, you're welcome to ask that at that point. As far as the announcements goes, the assessments are all complete and returned to you guys as of now. I am really trying to get those back to you between Monday and Wednesday every week so that we have a quicker turnaround, but sometimes it will still be a little bit later than that. But the main takeaway this week is perfect is not the answer, right? We are not always looking for perfect. I think right now, a lot of people, if they can't do it perfectly, they're not doing it at all, right? So we want to make sure that we are aiming for doing something intentionally, that we're making some intentional choices every day, even if it doesn't end up to be favorable in, every single aspect of this. It's about learning to make those optimal choices every day that leads us a little bit closer to progress instead of in the opposite direction. Because so often when people can't work out at all, they just don't move at all. When you could have easily gone for a quick walk, even if it's only 5 to 10 minutes, go for a quick walk. And then there's other ones where if your food plans fall through or you didn't make it to the grocery store for whatever reason, you could have had something else that you have at home. Like almost everybody has something that they can choose at home, but often they just end up ordering food in or ordering pizza or having a frozen pizza or something along those lines, right? We don't want to be so all or nothing. I want you guys to learn how to be really happy, trying to go for 100%, but being really happy with that 85 to 90% when we can't always win absolutely every part of every single day. So take control of the few little things that you can, allow those to add up over time. I wanted to talk about the investing yourself coaching. We have our next topics all figured out for next week and then throughout August. So we have grounding will be next week. And not like grounding your kids, but like putting your feet in the dirt, what that means, right? And how that helps you. I know it sounds a little hippie-ish, but I've been doing it and it helps. So please, we are going to go put our feet in the dirt. We're going to learn why. Then resisting sarcopenia. For those of you that don't know what that is muscle loss that happens as we age. And the majority of people in this group are, approaching their mid 30s or older. And that is when we start to kind of fight sarcopenia, which is that muscle loss due to getting older, which, oh my God, we're calling ourselves getting older. This is ridiculous. But anyway, we're going to talk about how to resist that. Next, we're going to talk about seed power. So specifically chia and flax seeds, what those do for us, how to receive compliments well. After hearing some of you really struggle to receive a compliment, I think it's really important to talk about how to receive those more appropriately moving forward. It has a lot to do with what you think and say about yourself. So we're going to dive into that. And Jenna's giving me a face right now because I know that that's what she's thinking. And then we're going to talk about beating the post-meal bloat. So a few things that we can do in order to help reduce that bloat, including activating our parasympathetic nervous system, all kinds of really cool stuff like that. So those are the new topics coming up throughout the next month. So if you want to get going and invest in yourself, you can hop into those topics starting on Sunday morning. And the only other things as far as announcements goes is please keep showing up on, sharing posts and inviting people to the group in the app and sharing podcasts and stuff as you wish. If you listen to something or read something that I put out there you think is super helpful, or if you're loving how I'm coaching you, or you learned something valuable in the group, or even if you love a recipe that we post in the group, whatever it is, and you want to share it, please do and invite people to join another group. I always want more people coming in there, learning more. And then please do keep on sending those first form order numbers as you make them. That is always incredibly helpful, especially for our newcomers. It's very helpful for me when you guys send those over to me. So thank you so much for those of you that have done that so far. Now, as far as scale fluctuations goes, so we're going to talk about a couple things here. We're going to talk about like mindset surrounding the scale, other things that we can do besides the scale, and then the things that really do affect that scale itself on a day to week to month basis, that would fluctuate that number one way or the other. So as far as mindset goes, if you look at that scale and dread or torture or fear or depression, all of those kinds of things kind of come up when you have this pressure of this one measurement, that we really, really need to reassess this mindset surrounding the scale. So it can lead to an all or nothing. It can lead to quitting or staying the course. And really, the scale shouldn't determine whether or not you keep going forward with your plan of action. The scale is often on a pedestal for a lot of people when really it needs to stay on the floor where it belongs. So stop putting it up here, because it is really the last tool of measurement we should really be basing our feelings off of on a daily basis. As far as mood goes, if you're feeling really happy and feeling really great about your pre-weigh-in, like you look at yourself in the mirror and you wake up and you feel good, you look in the mirror and you like the way that you look, you have confidence, your clothes are fitting better, your belt is down a notch, whatever the case is, then that's the reaction you need to hold on to. So if you are getting ready to jump on a scale, just so we know where you're at, and you're worried that it's going to ruin your day and it's going to throw you off course, no matter what that number says, what I always do, because I often struggled with a really, really bad relationship with the scale as well, is you look in that mirror and you pick out a few things about yourself that you're very, very proud of. What do you like about yourself? I feel good about X, Y, and Z. I am proud of X, Y, and Z on my body right now. Deep breath, get on the scale. Number is what the number is. Get off the scale, say the same things in front of the mirror once again. And it reinforces that no matter what that scale says, you feel a certain way about yourself and you look a certain way and you are like happy with yourself. And it kind of eliminates like the sting that the scale can give to you. So that's what I would really, really recommend, is like really pick out those few things before you get on and then say them again once you get off. And that has helped a ton with my mentality surrounding it. But really, if the scale is capable of ruining your mood or your morning or your day, then we really do need to reassess that mindset and work on a shift. Let's see, the bathroom scale also, you guys, we need to keep in mind, this is measuring literally everything on your body. If you're wearing clothes, it is weighing the clothes. If you drink some water, it is weighing the water. It is weighing your bones. It is weighing your muscle, your fat, your blood, your food. It weighs everything the same. Okay. So what we need to understand is there's so many variables there, right? Like, did you poop this morning? You probably weigh less. Did you drink water before you got in the scale? You probably weigh more, right? So there's so many moving variables that bathroom scale is weighing. It is purely taking a total weight of you at that moment in time. So don't give it more credit than what it's worth. Other things that are going to be a little bit better as far as like measurements and such goes, the scale being a measurement, right? We really need to focus on, measuring tape, right? If we're going to measure properly and take inches, if you are up in your biceps and down in your waist, then that's perfect, right? That means that we are making body composition changes. Who cares what the scale says? I always say that. You guys always agree with me, but then it comes down to the scale and you're all upset. Meanwhile, your pictures look vastly different, right? So look at your inches. Look at them. I am terrible about taking my measurements as well. I need to do it more. But in all sincerity, take the inch readings. Okay. What is Jenna say here? Yes, literally went to the doctor today mid-afternoon, and of course they weigh me. I pretty much went like, nope, not looking at it. She's clothed mid-afternoon, drank a bunch of water, all the food, everything. And then a gallon of water weighs 8 pounds. So if you're drinking a gallon of water a day, obviously you're peeing a lot of that out. But keep in mind, like that's 8 pounds that you are taking in every day worth of liquid alone. So keep those things in the back of your mind. The scale only means one thing. Other things, clothing. If your clothing is fitting more comfortably and it's less like belly hanging over the belt kind of a situation, or there's less of a roll under the bra situation, then we're making progress, right? This is where it's really, really helpful to look in that mirror to really assess how those things are fitting. That belt went down a notch, or that shirt that was tight before isn't so tight now. Those are all really, really positive signs that we're going in the right direction. So we need to remember that those things are just as important. Pictures, you literally see changes. I know so many of you hate taking pictures, me included. Okay, but when we take the pictures, that means that when you're upset with yourself, I can, show you the picture from 2 months ago to now, and we go, oh my God, look at the changes. Look at the changes. Who cares what the scale says? Look at the changes. And suddenly y'all get a lot happier, right? And it's from the pictures that you didn't even want to take, right? That happens all the time. Happens to all of us. Happened to me. Happens to me all the time. So we need to take the pictures. We're very visual creatures, right? So when we see something, it will automatically improve the motivation to keep going because we can see the actual change. Your mood, okay? If you are generally a happier, more energetic, less snappy person, you're more patient, all of those things are going to be big, big changes as far as overall health and especially even like gut health situations go. So really, if you are finding yourself to be in that better mood, to be that happier, easier going person a lot of the time, those are things to take into account as progress as well. So I want you guys to have all these different tools of measure to understand that the scale is just one little piece. Okay, one little piece. Don't put it up on its pedestal anymore. It doesn't deserve that shit. Now fluctuations, this is what most of you are here for. What in the world makes this thing fluctuate so much? Like there's so many things. I don't have all the things on the list here, but I have a lot of the main ones. So lifting heavier or doing a new workout. Okay. So lifting heavier, as we know at this point, or maybe you don't know if you're new here, when you lift weights, you are making small micro tears in your muscle tissues, which will be repaired with proper nutrition and hydration after the workout, da, 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 da. But with those small micro tears comes added inflammation, right? So we have added inflammation. That means that we have more water retention for a short period of time. So it's temporary swelling that will go away, but for instance, with me, if I push a super heavy leg day, and the reason I point out leg day is because my legs, your legs, are the biggest muscles that you have, right? You think about your butt and your quads and your hamstrings, those are bigger muscles than your biceps and your triceps, at least for most people, right? Unless you're like the chicken leg guy at the gym. Sometimes his biceps are bigger than his quads. Very weird though. Okay, always work legs. But I can fluctuate 3 pounds from one day to the next after a super heavy leg day. So understand that your body can fluctuate a ton just from lifting really, really heavy one day. If you're doing a change in workouts or starting a new workout program or starting a workout program for the first time, all of these things can cause a shift in your weight fluctuation for the day, for a few days. It's the same as lifting heavy. Your body and your muscles are experiencing new resistance. So when that happens, it's going to incorporate those new muscle fibers. It's going to micro tear smaller muscle fibers that haven't been used in a while. And when we do that, that's going to end up, more, a little bit inflammation, a little bit more swelling. Scale increases temporarily. It will subside, but we have to stay consistent and we need to keep going, because if we keep on starting and stopping and starting and stopping, it's harder on your body. It's harder on your body when you keep on stopping because the scale goes up after you start working out for the first time. Keep going. Keep going. Your body will say thank you if you keep going. Okay, so that's going to be a big piece there, which is why this week one of the questions was, did you start a new workout program this week? I did. Right. I started a new split in my workout this week, especially after having a deload week last week. So I knew the scale was going to go up this week because of added inflammation alone. You should see some of the glute work that this lady's having me do. Oh my God, right? If I didn't take post-workout, I'd be walking like a baby giraffe. I'm sore even after post-workout. So yes, absolutely. I have inflammation. And so the scale's definitely up. Keep that in consideration. Other things that can cause swelling temporarily, if you get like a deep tissue massage or even, physical therapy, that can cause some slight muscle tears as well. PT, that's a little bit more invasive, like cupping or dry needling, scraping, those types of practices can also cause a little bit of inflammation and swelling, especially depending on how big the muscle groups are that they're doing this to. So keep those things in mind. Hi, Brad. You're here for my TED Talk again. Okay, so then, oh, he's leaving for the period conversation. He's going to be so disappointed. So the next one. Okay, most of the people that are in here, most of us get periods. Okay, so welcome to womanhood. It's okay. But what I want you to understand is that it's super normal for the week before your period starts for the scale to go up a little bit. Hello, welcome to me this week as well. Not only am I lifting heavier this week than I was last week, I am also preparing to enter the fun week. Okay, so with that, your body is naturally going to bloat a little bit more. It's going to hold on to more water retention. You're going to feel that a little bit more in your midsection more than anywhere else. And it's going to cause you to feel really blah, right? So if your period is coming, I really, really suggest that you take note of that, because that's going to be a good sign and expectation for the scale to likely temporarily increase. Once again, why there was another question this week: are you starting your cycle soon? If you are, you can expect the scale to slightly increase. Literally, my scale went from 155 to 159, right? Saturday morning, I was 155, feeling fine. Today, I wake up at 159, feeling, okay? It's reality. This is what happens because we are female, okay? Now, it's okay. It goes away. As far as other things go, sodiums and salts, normal salt intake is okay. Actually, we need some salt intake to make sure that our cells are actually hydrating. So we can talk about that another day, but just keep in mind that if you are taking in more sodium than usual, right? Maybe we have too many processed foods, or we eat some fried foods, we go out for the night, something like that, then you can really expect that scale to jump up a little bit. This often happens to me after I go out and we have Mexican. Even if I choose a really good option, you ought to have Mexican, you're going to have all the salt. That's just how it goes. So you can expect the next day for things to be elevated a little bit. You're going to feel a little bit puffy. It's okay. Get back on track, drink some water, all that stuff flushes back out. You'll be good to go. But just know that when you go out to eat or have a really off meal, which is one of the other questions this week, you expect the scale to fluctuate some. Water intake in general, water flushes toxins and help remove waste and swelling from your body. But something I do want you to understand is that if you are new here and you went from drinking like a 16-ounce bottle of water to drinking 50 ounces of water every day, you're probably going from really dehydrated to moderately dehydrated. And with that being the case, your body is holding on to more water, saying, thank you, I finally feel better. And now you're walking around in a hydrated state. That's a good thing. That means that you're going to think clearer. That means you're going to digest better. That means that you're going to have more natural energy. You're going to utilize your foods more appropriately. All of the good things. So don't be afraid of the scale ticking up a little bit if you were drinking next to no water before and your water now increased. Sleep quality plays a big role in it as well. If you get low quality sleep, that's going to equal poor recovery and likely higher body stress and cortisol levels and higher inflammation throughout the body. If your body cannot recover during sleep and get quality rest, you will likely wake up being more puffy the next morning. That is just how it goes. So you think about sleeping poorly night after night after night after night, then that really starts to add up over time to being like really, really rough on you, and you're going to struggle to get that progress that you want. Illness. So if your body's fire alarm per se is going off saying something's wrong, you're sick, there's something we're trying to attack in here, then it can cause a lot of GI distress. It can cause a lot of gut inflammation because most of our immune system lives in our gut. So with that being said, the scale could either go up due to stress on your body or down due to lack of nutrients or fluids. I've actually heard and read stories and articles about how people's weight randomly jumped up 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds the week before that they knew that they were getting sick. Right. So your body knows that it's going to start fighting something before you do. So if you see that scale ticking up out of nowhere, you might be getting sick soon. It's kind of hard to know, but that has happened before. Stress overall. So if we're having like a high stress week, like somebody calls in sick to work every single day, or there's a bunch of things going on and you can't be in a routine, right? Whatever the case is, and you've got a super high stress week, then you can probably expect higher free radicals in your body, more cell damage, more swelling, right? Less recovery, all of those things. All of those things can lead to more gut stress, constipation, diarrhea, swollen GI, all of those situations, which can all make that scale go up, down, depending depending on what you're fighting with. Okay. Just know that all of these things are temporary. The time of day makes a big difference for when you weigh in. Naturally, if you weigh in the morning before you eat or drink anything, and after you use the bathroom and in the nude, you're probably going to find yourself with a lot more consistent weigh in than the people that are weighing in at night. Why? Because when you weigh in at night, you've already eaten all day. You've already had different types of workouts. You've drank water, you've drank coffee, you've drank whatever. You have all these different elements and variables in your day. Whereas if you do the weigh in the morning, that's going to be a lot more consistent instead of doing like 6 a.m. this day, 6 p.m. that day. Like it's going to change. So I would suggest if you really want to get a consistent measurement to see where this is really falling, do it on the same day of the same week at the same time, if at all possible. Keep control of those variables if you can. It will only help. Couple more things. Starting or stopping medications can make a big difference with the scale. They can directly influence your gut and your hormone profiles, which can cause fluid retention and or gut distress. Alcohol consumption is a whole new beast. We're not going to jump in exactly how alcohol goes through your body right now, but it does process differently than other foods and calories do. And it's treated as a toxin and can cause extra inflammation, poor sleep, joint swelling, GI distress, all kinds of stuff there. So if you drink alcohol in the last day or two, you can probably expect your weight to fluctuate a bit. And then another one that's really, really obvious, but people don't like to talk about, but hey, we're going to talk about poop here. If you are constipated, backed up, you have not gone to the bathroom yet that day, or if you're like an every other day, every third day kind of person, then obviously you're going to weigh more. You have that waste in your body still, right? So we got to remember that if that's not happening regularly, that scale is going to be affected purely because we haven't excreted the waste yet. So just use common sense about it. It's okay if you don't want to have a conversation with your mom about it, but let me know. Tell me it's not going well. That way I can help you understand how to make it better. Okay. But a couple other things, not as far as like what will cause it to fluctuate. Those are kind of like the main points of what causes it to fluctuate, but a little piece of just information, because I have a lot of people that like to reassure themselves like, oh, the scale jumped 3 pounds this week. It's got to be muscle because I've been working so hard. I'm sorry, but you are not capable of gaining 3 pounds of muscle in a week. It's a no. Like it's a no. It's just not there. So just to give you some understanding, if you're following a plan consistently and you're lifting hard and you are hitting your nutrition plan and you are doing the sleep and you're doing all the things correct, you are likely to gain somewhere between 0.25 to 0.5 pounds of muscle per week. If we're women, obviously most of us, 0.25 is going to be more likely. If you are a brand new person to lifting, you have chances of doubling that for a while. But honestly, most people, it's going to be about a quarter pound at most each week that you can gain in muscle. So everything else is water, swelling, and excess waste that we haven't got rid of yet. Okay, so all of those things come into account. Like I said earlier, my personal self will fluctuate 4 to 5 pounds throughout the week, depending on the time of the month and lifting schedules and things of that nature. So really just one more time, don't base your progress and therefore your willingness to continue your plan on just a scale number. We need to take all of the things into account that affect that and look at all the other ways that we can measure progress outside of it. Well, hopefully this was helpful for someone. And if you have any questions following up on this, just shoot me a message. Always happy to help. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday night, you guys. And I will talk to you all later on. Bye, everybody.